Faith Everyday podcast, and we've been journeying together through the book of Ephesians, and this time we've reached part 19, which I've called Walking in Wisdom. And today we're going to be considering the scriptures from the middle of chapter 5, Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 to 21. Now, I'm sure we all know that there are a lot of crazy people out there. If we think in the UK, we think about examples I've seen in the town I live in as teenagers endangering their own lives and the lives of other people by driving around built-up housing estates at up to 90 miles an hour. Now that's not very smart. And we often read in our papers or our TV programs on about hoarders, people who live in cluttered houses, sometimes rat-infested houses, and during the day they wander the streets rummaging around through bins for food. And yet we find out later they've got thousands of pounds hidden under their mattresses. Or think about star athletes or celebrities throwing their cash and their career away and all their advertising and endorsements and the adulation that they receive, and they throw it all away because of a drug habit. Ridiculous, you might think. But before we look down at these other people, maybe we should just consider our own lives for a moment. And I'd just like to ask you the question, I wonder, have you ever done anything foolish? Have you ever done anything stupid? I think if we're honest with ourselves, we all know we've done foolish things in our lives. Some of us don't just do foolish things once in a while, we do them all the time. We keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Needless to say, I don't think anybody plans to live a foolish life. But if we think about the other side of that coin, the other side of being foolish, then the question that we might want to ask ourselves is, how might we live a wise life, a life full of wisdom? Perhaps as Christians, before we can even think about living a righteous or a holy life, maybe we just need to start by knowing, how can we avoid making mistakes? How can we avoid living a foolish life? The passage we're looking at today, Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 to 21, has some advice on this matter. So let's see what we can learn together in the main part of the podcast, where Paula is now going to just come and read the scriptures for us. So why don't you join us in the Living in Faith Everyday podcast, the link of which will follow on shortly after this.